I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, September the 11th. Remember September the 11th, people. Brought to you in part by Zactran. Bovine respiratory disease steals pounds. Zactran pounds back. It's a fast-acting antibiotic that is approved for the treatment and control of BRD. Remember to observe your 35-day withdrawal period after treatment. For more information, go to Zactran.com or visit with your BI representative. September the 11th, like I said, remember that, guys, and remember the way that it made you feel 19 years ago. I think all of us can remember where we were at. I certainly can. I can remember the way I felt. And as you go to the voting booth this November and we enter this election season, try to decide which side you think you'd be on if we were to face something like that again. But September the 11th, I want to wish happy birthday to my good friend Gene King from Elwood, Kansas, his 89th birthday. I tell you what, a good old trader there. He used to buy some cattle for me, and he's an awful good fella. Let's talk about what went on at the end of the week here this past week. A wild boar from Germany. I mean, that's the last thing we would think of that would make this market jump. We've been going up, down, up, down, up, down. More volatile than what we've been doing here on your cattle futures. But late in the week here, we got a boost from a wild boar from Germany. They tracked it down there. Germany had been taking a lot of safeguards, trying to keep from getting that African swine fever. They were scared they were going to get it. Poland had it in there, and they were just doing everything they could do just to keep it out of there. And I'll be dang if they didn't test a wild boar, came back positive for African swine fever, and that automatically stops exports to any other countries for pork outside the European Union there. And Germany was Europe's top pork producer there and a key supplier to China. And so even though China and us are not getting along great, they're continuing to have to step up their protein shipments from us, and now that's likely to be more if they lose those imports that they've been getting from Germany there. But you know, we hate that Germany's had trouble there, but heck of it is, you know, that's kind of the way the markets work. When somebody has trouble, somebody else is going to benefit from it. But that was a big jump there on Thursday. We'll see how it carries through on Friday here, but a big jump, and actually your live cattle backed off, and they weren't up that much. They were up quite a bit more earlier in the session, but I would think it would continue here at least to finish out the week here, because we didn't find out that it was absolutely positive until after the board closed. So I think that's another jolt that we'll probably get here on Friday. As we enter the weekend here, don't forget to go on and comment on the Federal Trade Commission's proposal to strengthen Made in the USA Act. Tell them how you feel about it. Tell them you want it to include beef and from birth to slaughter there. And that's an important thing. You've got to get those comments in before the end of the day on Monday, or it's not going to do any good. So let's look at the board on Thursday. October live cattle futures up 40 cents at 105.10. December up 27 cents at 109.42. You going out from there, they were all up until you got to the farthest out traded month, which is February of 2022, but it was down 17, and then you went to the highest up closer by, it was up 92 cents. September feeder cattle were up 77 cents. They were up a lot more than that earlier too, but up 77 at 139.17. October was also up, and all this in spite of corn being up 7 1/4 cents, and new crop December corn up 4 3/4 cents. So pretty strong on feeder cattle. The October feeder cattle were up $1.35 at 139.60. Going out from there, and they were up 145 to 195. So people have been waiting for this for these feeder cattle futures to respond to the positive technicals that we've seen on the charts. and so it didn't take much for them to go up, and they went up more and stayed up better. But of course, your hog market got a heck of a jolt out of it. Lean hogs nearby were up the $3 limit, which you could expect there. But it's going to continue to kind of lend support to your fat cattle. Your fats continued to trade $2 lower through Thursday and there, and then all of a sudden trade just stopped when we saw the board go up this much. Your cattle feeders thought maybe they should get a little bit bigger piece of the pie, but packers were not willing to give it up and going to trade very minimal cash trade this week unless they come in here on Friday, and they'll likely have to give more money than what they've been given all week to trade more. Now, supposedly, your NCBA is supposed to be monitoring the amount of cash trade here, and then they're going to have their hired academia researchers go in there and see if that's enough for transparency, which we all know it probably will, but it doesn't show to give any fear to the packers. But let's look at your trade on Thursday. Iowa had about 1,800 head, and for the week they've sold 11,800 so far this week, but from $1 to $1.02, so no better, and 159 to 161 on a dress basis. Nebraska only 500 head, but they had sold a bunch earlier in the week, and they've got 27,200. All their sales are at 101 and 160 to 161 dressed. Kansas, no more trade, only 200 head for a grand total of 9,500 this week, all at 101, and Texas about 800 head on Thursday. So for the week there at only 3,400. So that's still going to be a very, very small trade if we don't get some significant trade on Friday, which a lot of times we don't, but that'll be less than 50,000 for the week. Box beef cutout values down hard. Choice down at the end of the day, $2.12 on Thursday at $220.83. Select 207.32 down 19, so that is tightening up the choice select spread just a little bit. Slaughter information, I haven't talked about this week's slaughter at all. It's just almost impossible to compare because we've had this holiday week, and a year ago it was not a holiday week. So we'll just have to look at that when we get all said and done. But your actual slaughter data for the week ending August the 29th had your average dress steer weights all the way up to 916 pounds, guys. Wow, that's 6 pounds heavier than just the report earlier and 32 pounds heavier than the same report a year ago. We've got to get these weights under control. I wouldn't be marketing any handy weights, guys. Just try to get rid of those big cattle, and I know you are, but make the packers take them. I tell you what, that is just negative fundamentals there, having these huge weights out there. I think our head counts are pretty much under control. It's just the weights on the cattle that are out there. Let's talk about your feeder cattle, and I got several feeder cattle quotes for you here. But on Thursday, your real-time index late in the day on DV auction was 140.71, up another 13 cents. And we saw that big jump early in the week from your holiday specials that were just tremendous. Torrington and Russell, Iowa, but we saw the huge jump then, and then it's just been up a little bit more every day. So been positive here, even though we're seeing lighter numbers of feeder cattle around, really, and that's probably got as much to do with it as anything. But been good market around this week for your feeder cattle, especially the last of your green grass yearling feeders. Don't forget to get on dvauction.com here on Friday, because Burwell, Nebraska's got a good sale. They've got several consignments and a couple of big consignments of green grass yearlings on their sale. They've got a lot of weaned fall-born calves, and then they've also got some fall-bred cows and pairs on there. So be sure to get on Burwell Livestock Market on DV Auction and view and bid that sale right there on Friday here. But let's talk about some of your big sales on Thursday. Pratt, Kansas, which they weren't that big, and a lot of it had to do because of the cold snap that come through. Winter livestock in Pratt, just 1,200 head there. Feeders were $2 to $4 higher though, and like I say, I think a lot of that was in turn to the lighter receipts. I tell you what was really cold was up in Salina, Kansas. Farmers and ranchers livestock only ended up with a little less than 1,000 head of cattle, but man, they had some hellish prices there, and they didn't really call a trend on them because of the light receipts, but said that feeder steers kind of had a higher undertone, feeder heifers maybe a little lower undertone. But look at this one quote I give you, and this is an important quote because it's right on your index levels right there. 63 head of steers in Salina, Kansas, 799 pounds, right there at your 800 pounds, your average for your index levels, and right on I-70, which I consider the borderline between northern plains and southern plains. So that's a really important spot right in the center of your plains and right in on your index price there. But 63 steers weighed 799 in Salina at 145.85 on Thursday, and that's about $5 over what your index average is. Some other quotes from different places. How about Paris Stockyards, Paris, Kentucky? They got a heck of a sale there. Watch it on DV Auction too. 3 loads, 773-pound steers come from the Pasley brothers in Pilot View, Kentucky. 3 loads of those weighed 773, all black, 146 and a quarter, way out in Kentucky, guys. How about Mitchell Livestock, Mitchell, South Dakota? 2,000 head there. Heavy steers were up to $3 higher there. Look at these loads of big yearling feeder steers here, and some of them near beer fats there. But I tell you what, some really good quotes. A couple that I thought really stuck out was 60 head of those black 856-pound steers in Mitchell, South Dakota, bring 147.75. Wow. And then look at those big Hereford steers, 63 head of those weighed 1067 at 127.35. We got a fat cattle market of $1.01 right now. How about your biggest quote that I saw anywhere was on lightweight peewee calves. But I tell you what, they can sell peewee calves at Burlington, Colorado, Burlington Livestock Exchange. Look at these quotes out of here, and I don't know if it was the same consignment or not, but very, very impressive. And on lightweight peewee calves, 78 head, 357-pound steer calves there, bring 214, and you think, wow, that doesn't make any difference. They just weighed 3 something. How about 84 head of them weighed 440 at 193.75? You may say the same thing about those, but how about some right there at 500 pounds? 91 head, 496-pound steers, bring $183. Burlington Livestock Exchange. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.